Hello friends! Today we are reading the story Caps for Sale, a tale of a peddler, some monkeys, and their monkey business. And it is by Esther Slobodkina. What do you think a peddler is? A peddler is a person who sells just one type of thing. So they sell things. And in this case, they are caps. And a cap is just another word for this type of hat. All right? I wonder why this man is up in the tree. And I wonder what monkeys have to do with it. Let's find out. It's going to be so silly, I bet. Here we go. Once there was a peddler who sold caps, but he was not like any other peddler that's carrying his wares on his back. He carried them on top of his head, and wares are just another word for things that he sells. First, he had his own checked cap, then he had some gray ones, and a bunch of brown ones, and a bunch of blue ones, and on the very top, a bunch of red caps. How did he get all of those caps on top of his head? He walked up and down the streets, holding himself very straight so as to not upset the caps. As he went along, he called, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." One morning, he couldn't sell any caps. He walked up the street and he walked down the street calling, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." But nobody wanted any caps that morning. He began to feel very hungry, but he had no money for lunch. "I think I'll go for a walk in the country," said he, and he walked out of town slowly, so as to not upset his caps. And upset his caps means so that they don't fall. He walked for a long time until he came to a great big tree. "That's a nice place for a rest," thought he. And he sat down very slowly under the tree and leaned back little by little against the tree trunk so as to not disturb the caps on his head. Then he put up his hands to feel if they were straight. First his own checked cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, then the red caps on the very top. They were all there, so he went to sleep. He slept for a long time. When he woke up, he was refreshed and rested. What do you notice about this page? Uh-oh, what's going on here? But before standing up, he felt with his hand to make sure his caps were in the right place. All he felt was his own checked cap. He looked to the right of him, no caps. He looked to the left of him, no caps. He looked to the back of him, no caps. And he looked all the way behind the tree, no caps. Then he looked up into the tree. And what do you think he saw? On every branch sat a monkey. On every monkey was a gray or a brown or a blue or a red cap. Oh my goodness, those silly monkeys stole his caps while he was sleeping. What do you think he can do? The peddler looked at the monkeys. The monkeys looked at the peddler. He didn't know what to do. Finally, he spoke to them. So he's thinking about what he can do. "You monkeys, you," he said, shaking his finger at them. "You give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook their fingers back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." This made the peddler angry. So he shook both of his hands at them and said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook their fists and said, "Tss, tss." What are the monkeys doing? And what is the peddler doing? Now he felt quite angry, and he stamped his foot and said, "You monkeys, you better give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped their feet back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." You see him? You see what they're doing? By this time, the peddler was really very, very angry. He stamped both of his feet and shouted, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped both of their feet back at him and said, "Tss, tss." At last, he became so angry that he pulled off his own cap and threw it on the ground and began walking away. Up until this point, the monkeys have been doing exactly what he's been doing, right? They're copying him. You might say monkey see, monkey do, right? So he just threw off his cap. What do you think the monkeys are going to do? But then each monkey pulled off their cap. And all the gray caps and all the brown caps and all the blue caps and all the red caps came flying down out of the tree. Oh my goodness, they did it. They took off their hats and threw them down too. So the peddler picked up all of his caps and put them back on his head. First his own checks cap, then all the gray caps, then all the brown caps, then all the blue caps, then the red caps on the very top. And slowly he walked back to town calling, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." The end. Wasn't that story super silly? I did not expect him to come across a bunch of monkeys. And they started copying him. Do you think that he knew that they were going to throw their hats off, though? Their caps? So, once again, remember, a peddler is a person who sells something. And this man sells caps. Alright? And I'm only mentioning this because we are still learning about neighborhoods. And a peddler is a job, right? We know that all jobs are very important. All right, I hope you really enjoyed this book like our friends in our class did, all right? Goodbye.